Today we are interviewing Isaiah Silva, an upcoming entrepreneur. It's great to have you here today, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And today our topic is marijuana.
Okay.
All right, we're just going to be asking a few questions here, just getting your opinion and, whatever input you have for us. All right, first question. Should marijuana for medical purposes be legal? Why or why not?
Well, I think marijuana should be legal for medical purposes because a lot of people have issues with having seizures, glaucoma, sometimes arthritis. It helps a lot because it helps to numb the pain and take your mind somewhere, to not feel the pain that is in reality, like reality.
While your
pain.
body recovers.
Yeah, while your body recovers.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
All right. What do you think about marijuana for recreational purposes? Why or why not?
Oh, well, let me tell you first. I love marijuana. Marijuana is great. I think it should be legal for both medicinal and recreational use. Actually, before I get into all the medical reasons why it should be legal, I want to say it should replace cigarettes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, cigarettes definitely have a lot of chemicals. Okay. So, what do you think are some of the pros of legalization?
Some of the pros of legalization, I would say taxes, money from taxes.
Okay.
The start of new jobs. There would be a whole bunch of more jobs in that industry, agricultural jobs, clinic jobs, and like coffee shops like there are in Amsterdam. So there'll be a lot of different things popping up. I also think it would expand people's minds. Whenever I smoke marijuana, I sometimes think of, different ideas. And me being an entrepreneur, it really helps me relax and focus on certain ideas that someone normally might not think of.
Yeah, okay.
In a normal state of mind.
Like a third person point of view and looking
Exactly.
down on. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I like that. What about the cons of legalization?
So the cons of legalization. Well, the cons, the drug dealers will no longer have an alternative route of the non-working field. So that would be a good way to weed out the, who's really bad and who's really good in this, sorry about that. In this country, a lot of times the people who sell weed are just people who work minimum wage jobs and just try to make ends meet, and that's the only way that they have access to buy in bulk. Another con I think is that maybe the older age group will have issues with dealing with the change of what has been illegal in their time, for their entire life, and the sudden change, just like in the Prohibition era.
Lots of propaganda.
Lots of propaganda. I think also as for the young kids, because we also have to set an age limit of when it is acceptable to smoke marijuana, just like alcohol.
Yeah. Because your brain's still developing a little,
The brain's still developing. Yeah, exactly. But I think it should be 18.
Okay. Cool. So, like you said, you bring up alcohol. What do you think is worse, marijuana or alcohol, and why?
Definitely alcohol. Alcohol is something that you can overdose on. It impairs your judgment to the point that sometimes people black out. And when people black out behind the wheel, that's the most dangerous thing possible. It's more dangerous than a bullet, I believe, sometimes. Because a bullet kills one person, maybe two if it's a large round going through. But a motor vehicle can kill you and whoever's in the car and whoever's in the next car if you hit a car, or if you hit a pedestrian, that's more people on top of that.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one.
Yep. Um,
So do you think all drugs should be legal? Why or why not?
I don't think all drugs should be legal. I think the only drug that is labeled a drug right now, marijuana, that should be legal is that one.
What about hemp?
Oh, hemp?
Definitely the cousin.
I believe that's in the same family. I think in the family of marijuana, the entire family should be legalized. But any of the opiates like heroin and other drugs like cocaine and Molly and ecstasy, I believe those should be illegal. Those drugs are man-made and made with chemicals to produce the end result, and a lot of times people take it and mix it with their own things, and that just sets up a deadly combination. You can overdose. You can die. You can just die from these drugs, and that alone should be something that's, it shouldn't even be labeled as a drug. It should be labeled as a poison, so people know right off the bat it's not something that you take. I think that's where it's created. To be honest, in all my opinion, I think things are illegal like that, drugs like that are illegal because they know people are going to do them, and they are addictive substances. Why not just label them as what they really are, things that can kill you,
Yeah, I agree with you, man. With that being said, not just talking about weed here, do you think humans have the right to put what they want inside their bodies if it doesn't affect others? I guess in a general sense, weed or whichever drug.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I believe humans should have the right to put whatever they want into their body, but what you're saying is as long as it doesn't affect someone else.
Yes.
A lot of times people don't think of the ways that it can affect someone else. Emotionally, it can affect your family. The way you act, or the way you act if you have kids, that definitely factors in how someone else will grow up or view you as a person. You might, they might not care what you do and stuff, but that person is definitely going to distance themselves from you if they themselves are a clean person. If it gets to the point that it's something that will kill you yourself, I don't think it should be allowed, because you don't have the right to take your own life. It's just not right. And religiously, like, I'm not a very religious person, but I do believe in God, and He didn't put us here on this earth to, take our own lives. You don't take the easy way out.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to sum things up with one more question. When we talk about hemp and marijuana, and there's the state law, but then also you got the federal law, and you see other states being lifted up, state laws still being problems when the feds come in, and even shop or dispensaries being raided, whatnot. And what do you think? This federal law just needs to be uplifted, because what about hemp? Hemp can't even. We have almost $1 billion industry from Canada selling to the U.S., and we can't even really grow except for a couple states. And this federal law really holds up a lot, when even if the state law is still approved.
Well, I think it should be taxed. I think the sale of marijuana, the sale of hemp, if it does get legal, when it does get legal, because it's only a matter of time, I think it should be taxed, maybe at a 10% rate. That's pretty high, but it will stimulate the economy enough to really see a change. And also culturally, marijuana's been known to, in the places that it's more popular, have a whole different subculture, more relaxed, laid back thing. That's why people enjoy going to California. It's why people enjoy going to Florida, because it's not publicized, but trust me, there's lots of marijuana in Florida because we're right on the coast. There's all the Caribbean's right there. We grow our own stuff, so it's very available to us. Those culturally, I think it makes people more abstract and maybe in a way use your whole brain, because they say we only use about 20% of our total capacity. Sometimes I feel like when I smoke weed, I can access different parts. When we were talking about the different drugs, LSD is one of those drugs that I mentioned that was one that I didn't mention that should be illegal, and the reason for that is because I believe LSD, for certain religions, expands your mind to the threshold of what we see as reality. So, what I mean by that is, there's a whole the whole thing about psychology is that everything around us is energy. Our mind makes up what we see. So we take in light, we take in energy waves, and it passes through a system. It passing through a system means that it's no longer a, if you will, true what we call reality. Our reality is made up by what our brain thinks of. If you will.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, yeah, I think it helps. Oh yeah, and hemp should be legal because for clothing purposes, there's so many things that we can make out of hemp. Clothing, one of them. Paper, rope, houses too. Even a house, shoot, you can. There's hemp houses that are being made right now that are, I don't know the exact statistic, but they're more efficient than a standard home.
They sequate carbon dioxide while living.
Okay.
While you're living in your living room watching a movie, you have carbon being sequated by your house. What a thrill.
Yeah, and carbon is what everyone is made of.
Your house has a negative carbon footprint. What's the chances?
That sounds great.
Well,